Wanna buy a house, a couple cars in my estate. I've been losing angels, I ain't going to LA. I ain't scared of nothing, I'll replace it with my faith. I know this being good is what'll stop me being great. Wanna buy a house, a couple cars in my estate. I've been losing angels, I ain't going to LA. I ain't scared of nothing, I'll replace it with my faith. I know this being good is what'll stop me being great.
35 seconds of logos.
Jeremy hates logos cliche.
Sure, I'm glad Ian Holm is here to remind me of that unpopular trilogy of movies that came out more than 10 years ago.
So I guess I'm supposed to assume that this sin was meant as a joke, but either way, it wasn't funny. Anyway, unpopular? Do you know what that word means? The Lord of the Rings trilogy sure as hell wasn't unpopular.
Peter Jackson only teases dragon even though he knows you bought the ticket expecting to see dragon.
This is actually a very common trope in monster movies, not fully showing the monster, at least not early on. This is done in order to build suspense and your desire to see the monster later on.
This is a lot of exposition even for a Lord of the Rings movie.
Not really. I mean, Fellowship opened on an entirely expositional scene with narration too. This scene is actually a mirror of that.
Began as you might expect.
If he's writing all this to Frodo, why does he need to do the whole "it began in a hole in the ground"?
Because he's writing a book, and even though Frodo is more or less the target audience, he still wants it to be in the form of a legit book.
Oh, hey Frodo, what are you doing in this movie? Not a thing.
Did they just censor the word damn? What the hell?
Dwarf doors are invisible.
Yeah, except when a huge dragon wants to come in.
Okay, funny joke, haha, but you conveniently cut out the part of the scene where Gandalf was talking about the secret door, not the main gate.
If the dwarves spent as much time training to fight dragons as they did singing, this trilogy would be over by now.
Jeremy has the attention span of a toddler with ADHD cliche. What, he was complaining about all the time spent singing. This sin is justified.
It takes 43 minutes for this film's actual adventure to begin, and the first thing they do is go to sleep and tell more boring dwarf stories.
This boring dwarf story is actually a very important piece of background information and characterization for Thorin. Plus, it was not boring at all.
Still a better death scene than Miranda Tate's in Dark Knight Rises.
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the movie cliche.
Even for a kid's movie, this is pretty f***ing ridiculous.
This is ridiculous for a kid's movie? Seriously? Have you never seen a movie with talking animals, or living cars, or any of the other million Disney/Pixar movies?
These ropes aren't remotely tight or secure.
And your point is? You just pointed something out and you're just expecting it to be a sin, but you failed to explain why it's a sin.
They will outrun you.
These are Roscabel rabbits. I'd like to see them try.
On the one hand, this guy just smoked weed, but on the other hand, he knows a lot more about rabbits than I do, so let him go.
So Jeremy sins something he likes cliche?
It's his excessive consumption of mushrooms.
Jeez, the guy smokes weed and does shrooms? I think maybe all it takes to be a wizard in Middle-earth is a drug habit and a robe.
That can't be true, because I've never seen my former roommate perform magic.
Because there is none.
Is Sauron supposed to already be evil here, or is he just a dick?
He's just a dick. Next question.
This always seems to happen. I start playing Final Fantasy VII, but I end up playing Shadow of the Colossus.
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the movie cliche.
So the goblins built this entire collapsible floor just in case somebody came by and wanted to sleep here for a while?
Yes. Next question.
Rings don't land on fingers like this, unless you're in Middle-earth, where it happens in the first movie of every trilogy.
You're failing to understand that the ring is magical and is willing itself to land on people's fingers like this.
How does this blow not take his face right off?
Because it didn't hit his face? What the hell are you on?
Wait, that's the Lonely Mountain? Well, why didn't the Eagles just fly him all the way there? Take him like 15 minutes.
The Eagles didn't want to fly to the Lonely Mountain because they were afraid of being shot down by men, specifically the men of Lake Town.